Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast, what the world is listening to.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, The Hot Commodity, and I'm joined by my own Hot Commodity today as we dive into November 1999, covering the biggest moments in entertainment, movies, and music from the month of November. And we'll be covering WWF Survivor Series 1999 live in Detroit, Michigan. At the time of this, I was 6 years old. I had just turned 6. You, on the other hand, were 14. And, you were watching it at this time, but you and I both didn't really know what was going on here for the Survivor Series. So I was excited for the lead up or the build up to the pay-per-view. I had never seen this pay-per-view fully before, so you'll get my first time takes on this pay-per-view. But before we talk about Survivor Series 1999, let's talk about everything that happened in November of 1999, going over the entertainment portion of it. On November 4th, People magazine named their sexiest man alive. Who do you think it was? For
me.
You. Oh, well, you were 14. You weren't a man yet, baby. You were a teen. Richard Gere.
Okay. Richard Gere talk.
On November 5th, Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman get arrested for domestic violence after a fight in Miami. I didn't even know the two of them were together.
Oh yeah.
On November 19th, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire actually gets a millionaire when IRS employee John Carpenter earns $1 million, the first time a player has $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That what? One of the few times. That was November 19th. On November 21st, just a couple of days later, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston appear at a Sting concert, and rumors start to circulate because Jennifer Aniston appears to have a ring on Sting. Jennifer Aniston appears to have a ring on her finger, although they deny that they already, going to be engaged. However, we all know what ends up happening with that relationship. And the final entertainment news from November 1999, on November 28th, Toy Story 2 shatters box office records, debuting on Thanksgiving weekend. Toy Story, one of my favorite Disney Pixar trilogies. And I remember I saw the second one in theaters with my mom, so respect. Let's cover the top 10 music from November 1999. Number 10 is Steal My Sunshine by Len. Number 9, I Want to Love You Forever by Jessica Simpson. Number 8, My Love Is Your Love by Whitney Houston. 7, Unpretty by TLC. 6 is Satisfy You by P. Diddy. 5 is Heartbreaker by Mariah Carey. 4, I Need to Know by Mark Anthony. Number 3, Mambo Number 5. 2 is Back at One by Brian McKnight. And the number 1 song in November 1999 is Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
All good songs.
All good songs. I can still jam to some of them. Now let's talk about the top 10 movies of November 1999. Coming in at number 10, Anywhere But Here. I've never really heard of that movie. Have you?
No.
Let's see what it's about. Anywhere But Here. It's with Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman. A mother and daughter search for success in Beverly Hills. Never saw it. Number 9 is The Bachelor. I haven't seen that either. That is with Chris O'Donnell and Renee Zellweger. A commitment-phobic man goes in search of a bride, including his fed-up girlfriend, to inherit his grandfather's $100 million inheritance. The Bachelor. Number 8 is The Insider. Another movie I haven't seen. It's with Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. A research chemist comes under personal and professional attack when he decides to appear in a 60 minutes expose on big tobacco. Never heard of that one, but I'm sure it's good. Number 7 is a movie called Dogma with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. An abortion clinic worker with a special heritage is called upon to save the existence of humanity from being negated by 2 renegade angels trying to exploit a loophole and re-enter heaven. I have never seen that, but don't you like Ben Affleck?
I do. I've never seen.
Dog. Number 6 is The Bone Collector. That's with Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie, a quadriplegic ex-homicide detective and his partner try to track down a serial killer who is terrorizing New York City.
I think I've seen.
Queen Latifah's in that as well. End of Days, Arnold Schwarzenegger was promoting that movie on SmackDown. At the end of the century, Satan visits New York in search of a bride. It's up to an ex-cop who now runs an elite security outfit to stop. Number 4 is Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. I remember that movie. I was a big Pokemon fan when I was little. Number 3, Sleepy Hollow, based on the adventures, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is a book that's with Christina Ricci and the guy who's oh god, yes, thank you. Number 2 is The World Is Not Enough, and that is a James Bond movie. James Bond uncovers a nuclear plot while protecting an oil heiress from a former kidnapper and international terrorist who can't feel pain. And finally, the number 1 movie of November 1999 is Toy Story 2. Kill the box office records. Not my favorite Toy Story, but it was a good one. Bullseye's in it, Prospector, Big Al, a lot of cool characters introduced in Toy Story 2. That is it for our coverage of November 1999. Interesting time. Do you remember any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Were you cool in 99?
No.
No. That's okay. I was kind of cool, but I was in first grade. Well, I was in kindergarten. Respect.
I was in 8th grade.
I was in kindergarten. I was the Hamburglar from McDonald's. That was my costume. Fun fact. All right. So our first match for WWF Survivor Series 1999 is the Survivor Series elimination match. We have the team of the Godfather, D'Lo Brown, and the Headbangers taking on the strange team of the Dudley Boys and the Acolytes. D'Lo Brown and the Headbangers come out dressed like the Godfather. They got big afros, and the Headbangers do. And this is an interesting match because the Acolytes and Dudley Boys didn't really like each other, so to see them team up was strange. During the match, Bradshaw hits D'Lo Brown and Bubba Ray Dudley with a steel chair, and Bradshaw gets disqualified. Then Farouk leg drops Devon Dudley. They fight on the floor. Farouk and Devon get counted out. It ends up coming down to Bubba Ray Dudley, D'Lo Brown, and the Godfather. Godfather hits a hoe train to Bubba Ray Dudley in the corner, and D'Lo hits a low down to Bubba. The sole survivors are D'Lo Brown and the Godfather. Basic elimination Survivor Series match. The part that I remember the most from this was Acolytes turning on the Dudleys. But what was your take on this? Not very interesting, or not?
Yeah, I don't know. The pay-per-view, a lot of them didn't make sense to me. So
Yeah,
it was just kind of
a lot of the matches were just thrown together randomly. I agree with you, and I agree. It was a little bit to get through this match, but we did get through it. Next up, we have the debut of Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle versus Shawn Stasiak. During the match, Angle grabs a mic and says, "You do not boo an Olympic gold medalist." Stasiak lands a clothesline, a suplex, and a side slam. Angle hits a power slam for a 2 count. Shawn misses a flying crossbody, and Angle lands an angle slam to get a quick victory here over Shawn Stasiak. Angle is a future Hall of Famer, future WWE Champion. What did you think of his debut match?
it was pretty cool. It was good. I didn't know they started him out as a heel. I thought that took some time, so that surprised me. Because I kind of forgot. So yeah, it's cool to go back and see
the genesis of Kurt Angle. I agree. Next up, we have our next Survivor Series elimination match. The WWF European Champion, the British Bulldog, and the Mean Street Posse taking on, again, a random team, Val Venis, Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry, Gangrel, and the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman. During this match, pretty much the Mean Street Posse got eliminated left and right. It was down to the British Bulldog. he ended up eliminating Gangrel after a power slam. Steve Blackman is eliminated after a fisherman suplex. It comes down to Val Venis and Mark Henry against the British Bulldog. Henry splashes Bulldog and Val Venis hits a money shot. Val Venis and Mark Henry are the sole survivors. What do you think of this?
I like Steve Blackman. And this is probably one of the last few times we see British Bulldogs. So,
yeah.
And I like him, so that was cool.
Yeah. I like how they eliminated the Mean Street Posse right away. I was glad that they didn't last too long because those guys suck. Next, we have our sudden death women's match. Mae Young, the Fabulous Moolah, Tori, and Debra defeat the WWF Women's Champion Ivory, Jacqueline, Luna Vachon, and Terri Runnels after Moolah slams Ivory and splashes her. And really, this match was like 1 minute. After the girls fight and Debra strips Terry's shirt off, what'd you think?
You know, people like always talk shit about the women's wrestling sometimes. But you know what? I think you got to give Moolah and Mae Young some credit. They were like 70 years old, like taking major fucking hits out there. They really were.
The fucking dinosaurs were killing it.
I'm sorry, but they did kill it.
Well, Bruce Pritchard said that a lot of the times, Moolah and Mae Young were utilized because when they were every moment for them, it was almost as if that was going to be the last time because they were so old. He wasn't sure what they were going to do. So every segment you see with them, WWE was planning as if it could have been one of their last ones that we see. Yeah. So, but to be fair though, I feel like they buried Ivory a lot with this. You know, like really the Fabulous Moolah, 7-year-old woman's going to be Ivory. It's just, I don't know. It's entertainment purpose, but kind of dumb. Next up, we have former friends going at it. X-Pac taking on Kane. X-Pac slams Kane into the ring steps and lands a spinning heel kick twice. Kane hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Kane then lands a flying clothesline and a choke slam, but Road Dogg comes out and pulls Kane off of X-Pac. X-Pac lands an X-Factor, but Kane goes for a tombstone pile driver, but WWF Champion Triple H runs in and nails Kane with the title after DX attack Kane. Tori runs in, turns around X-Pac, and X-Pac lands a spinning heel kick to Tori. This is not going to be good for DX or X-Pac. Kane's going to be pissed. What did you think of this?
It was a good match. I like Kane and X-Pac together, so it sucks to see them break off. But yeah, I think X-Pac would have felt okay.
Yeah, and what'd you think of X-Pac hitting Tori with a heel kick?
That's why he's gonna have fun.
No, I get that, but like for something of that time,
well,
like was it shocking to you or?
Yeah, but I mean, come on, you're seeing Chyna and Jericho go at it. So
True.
I guess it wasn't totally unprecedented, but yeah, it's it. But Chyna was kind of different, so. But to see somebody hit it, yeah.
Cool. Next up, The Rock and Triple H fight backstage. Then we have our handicap elimination match next. The Big Show defeating the WWF Hardcore Champion, the Big Boss Man, Viscera, Mideon, and Prince Albert. Big Show gets rid of Albert, Mideon, and Viscera quickly. Afterwards, the Big Boss Man runs from the Big Show and counts himself out. The Big Show gets a win. Dumb match, I thought. Really no point of this.
Yeah.
Just stupid, in my opinion.
Most matches with Mideon, I mean, not Viscera, were not good.
Yeah. Triple H is then, this is probably the most important moment of the night. Triple H spits water at Stone Cold Steve Austin backstage. Austin chases Triple H in the parking lot. He goes into the parking lot and a car runs Stone Cold Steve Austin over. A bunch of paramedics come in. Vince McMahon gets in the ambulance with Austin, and Austin has been hit by a car. He will not be involved in the main event. What did you think of this? This storyline, by the way, lasts a whole entire year.
Yeah. Yeah. And we hear about it the rest of the night. It's like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler keeps making fun of Jim Ross
because he's friends with
Austin. He's like, "Oh, you should be at the hospital."
Yeah.
And it greatly affects the rest of the night. So
yeah. And who did you think when you saw it did it? We know who did it, but who do you think at the time?
Well, you kind of think it was either something to do with Vince or Diaz.
Okay. Okay. Next up, Intercontinental Champion Chyna with Miss Kitty defending against Y2J Chris Jericho. And this is actually a really good match. Jericho chokes Chyna with a cord. Chyna has Chris Jericho in a tree of woe position, lands a drop kick. Jericho lands a flying crossbody to the floor and tosses Chyna to the exposed railing and lands a missile drop kick for a 2. Jericho then clotheslines Chyna to the floor again and kisses Miss Kitty. Chyna spares Jericho on the floor. Jericho lands a power bomb for a 2 count. Chyna lands a cartwheel clothesline in the corner. Referee gets knocked out. Jericho hits Chyna with the title and gets a 2 count. Chyna pedigrees Jericho and gets a 2. Chyna then low blows Chris Jericho on the top rope and lands a really bad looking super pedigree. And Chyna retains the WWE Intercontinental Championship clean. Well, not really clean, she had a low blow, but what do you think of this match?
Besides that ending that sucked, Chyna did great.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool to see her retain the title. Yeah, Chyna killed it. And Chris Jericho has to go sex street, so.
Oh yeah, he said he was going to go to Switzerland.
He's going to be Christina Jericho.
Triple H and X-Pac are backstage, and they tell Shane McMahon they had nothing to do with Stone Cold Steve Austin getting run over by a car. Shane announces that there will be a third member in that triple threat match later on tonight. We'll find out who it is later. Our next Survivor Series elimination match is up next. The Hollies and Too Cool defeat the team of the Hardy Boyz and Edge and Christian. It comes down to Hardcore, Holly, and Christian as the final 2. Hardcore rolls up Christian and gets the victory. Didn't really care too much for this match. They really shouldn't have put this on here. There wasn't a lot of rivalry in this one, but what did you think?
Yeah, it was just a lot of these were like time fillers.
Mm-hmm. I feel like though the Hollies, Hardcore Holly shouldn't have won. He really hasn't done much, in my opinion, compared to the Hardys and Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
Next, WWF Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws, defend against Mankind and Al Snow. Al Snow hits Road Dogg in the ribs with a steel chair. Mankind lands a knee lift to Road Dogg to get a 2. They all fight on the floor. The referee talks to Al Snow, and Mr. Ass hits a famouser to Mankind to get a 2. Mankind low blows Road Dogg, lands a double arm DDT. Al Snow hits a snow plow. Mankind lands a double mandible claw on the Outlaws. They low blow Mankind. Al hits Mr. Ass with head and gets a 2. Road Dogg tosses Al Snow to the ring steps, and the New Age Outlaws land a spike pile driver to Mankind to retain the tag team championships here. What do you think of the Outlaws retaining?
They were the right choice.
Yeah, I'm a big New Age Outlaws fan too. I like them. Not a big fan of Mankind and Al Snow teaming together, but I get why they did. They were the former champions, so give them a rematch. But basic tag match here at Survivor Series. We've made it to our main event. WWF Champion, the Game Triple H, defending against The Rock and surprise opponent, The Big Show. Rock and Triple H attack The Big Show to start and pretty much try to annihilate him. Triple H and The Rock double suplex The Big Show through a table on the floor. Rock hits Big Show with a ring bell. Rock lands a rock bomb Triple H twice, but The Big Show ends up pulling new referee Shane McMahon to the floor. Big Show tosses Rock into ring steps. Triple H pedigree Shane McMahon. DX attacks both The Big Show and The Rock, leading Vince McMahon to come out. Vince McMahon hits Triple H with the WWF Championship, and The Big Show lands a choke slam to become the new WWF Champion. What are your thoughts on Big Show as champion right now?
It was kind of surprising.
Are you happy? Do you think he's a good champ? Will be a good champion, or do you think it's more?
A little bit of both. This is his first championship, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how he does.
I was surprised that they give him the belt because he wasn't involved in any of the storyline.
Yeah, honestly, The Rock should have got it, or Triple H.
Yeah, well, Vince McMahon counting the pin. We're watching it now, giving the double middle finger to Triple H. Vince did screw Triple H. Vince screws everybody at Survivor Series. Vince gets the last laugh here, but what will happen tomorrow night?
Kind of falls back on Big Show. That's how he brought him in.
Yeah,
against Soft.
That's true. That's true. Good.
Big Show. It's kind of his back.
True. I didn't even think of that. Good connection there. Well, we will be back with our next episode of Raw as we're covering the aftermath of Survivor Series 1999. Make sure you check out all our other videos, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell to stay notified when new content is created. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.